IVM.
If I ask you to point to your mind, where would you point at? Your head or your forehead? Great. So if I ask you to point at your brain, where would you point at? Again, your head or your forehead? Well, don't worry, it's a very common misunderstanding. Or rather, it's a common understanding that both mind and brain are at the same place. Hi, I am Prashant Uttekar, a learning enthusiast, and you are listening to the Relearning podcast. And today, I'm making an attempt to simplify the brain and the mind. One of the most important difference is that the mind is not made of material, and our mind is a property where thoughts, feelings, memories, beliefs are generated, and it is a source of all our behaviors. Even though it's not made of material, it's extremely powerful and gives us our identity. On the other hand, the brain is approximately a 3-pound slab of tofu textured tissue inside our skull. Most importantly, brain is the custodian of our mind, which means if the brain is the hardware of our body, mind is the software, both combined to have a fully functional body. 16th century philosopher René Descartes pointed that even if all our physical sensations were just hallucinatory dream, our mind and thoughts would still be there. And he concluded that the conscious mind is something separate from the material body. In fact, this theory echoes with many religions and belief systems. Modern scientists say that not only brain, our entire body and mind work together and reject the idea of distinction between mind and the body. Neuroscience also suggests that our bodies, along with their physical senses, are deeply integrated with the activity in our brains to form what we call as consciousness. Since the day we are born, or maybe even before that, our mental development is formed through our body's interaction with the outer world. Every sound, sight, touch is creating a different association and map in our brain, regulating our experience of self. So, consciousness is an ongoing phenomena with a combination of our mind and body. The topic of consciousness is very interesting for me. Maybe it calls for another episode altogether. There are many organizations which are trying to make an attempt to store consciousness and download at will. So it wouldn't matter if the physical body or the material body is existing or not. That's spooky as at the same time very interesting. This obviously is an attempt to achieve immortality of sorts. When we say that every generation is smarter than the previous one, that's consciousness. It's nothing but AI and machine learning for humans. Science is still not sure if mind functions fully with brain or if it requires anything else from outside. Qualia, the philosophy of mind, has been defined and curated over time. In simple terms, it's the way you perceive things. Example, what is it like when you feel the pain? To experience the company of loved ones, the redness of color red in an apple, this perception, this mental state while experiencing is called qualia. The famous argument about qualia is that what you perceive as red may be completely different what I see as red. That means the color red may be perceived completely different for everybody. The mind works through the brain, which is separated from the brain. Each time our brain is stimulated by our mind, it responds in various ways, including neurochemical, genetic, and electromagnetic changes. This in turn grows and changes structures in the brain, creating and building new physical thoughts. The brain is never the same because it changes with every experience you have, every moment of every day. Basically, your mind is how you uniquely experience life. It's responsible for how you think, feel, and choose. And your physical brain merely responds to these unique experiences. As the famous quote says, biology gives you brain, life turns it into a mind. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, do check out other interesting podcasts on IVM Podcast app or website. Do share the episodes with your friends and family, and don't forget to tag IVM Podcasts and me. IVM is IVM Podcasts on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn, and I am on Prashant Uttekar on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, and DA_curious_ONE on Instagram. Until next time, this is Prashant Uttekar. Keep relearning. Bye.
Hey everybody, it's been a great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On Postcards from Nowhere, Utsav speaks to Rafiq Ahmed Shah. He's 73 years old and a fourth-generation artist who is fighting to keep the vanishing art of Kashmiri carpet weaving alive. On Tere Mere Raste, Keshav helps us get acquainted with Dharamshala, the Dalai Lama's abode, along with its twin MacLeodganj. On The Habit Coach, Ashton explains the importance of your starting point and how your goals and directions make an impact. On Marathi Kirtitun, Dr. Rajiv and Manik Deshmukh introduce us to the different languages spoken in India, their origin, and their evolution. And on The Wire Talk, Siddharth speaks to Dilip Menon, a historian of modern India. They discuss the worrisome practice of lynchings and rewriting the past in India. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any other show for that matter, please do tell a friend. And finally, we'd like to thank our sponsors on the network this week, Cred, Bank of Baroda, Quarter, CoinSwitch, Kuber, and Inter. We appreciate the support.
A wise man once said, traveling, it makes you speechless, then turns you into a storyteller.
Well, listen to such travel stories and experiences exploring India on the Musafir Stories with us, Saif and Faiza.
Catch us on the IVM website, app, or wherever you get your podcasts from.